Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to another exciting rendition of Bhagavatam Bites. I'm here with my really wonderful and beloved friend and godbrother who's taking care of us so nicely here in New York. Since I've come, he's just brought us in and showing us so much love and care. So we finally are getting a chance to read the Bhagavatam together, and we're in this beautiful place. You can't see, of course you can see all the green behind us and the kind of blue cloudy sky, but just over there, and I might show you in a minute, is this beautiful lake, and we're in what, Prospect Park. And it's the same person that
designed Central Park, and he's known to say, I didn't hear him say it personally, that he'd be more famous for Central Park, but Prospect Park would be his greater work, greater accomplishment, and it really is a beautiful park.
So we're in a beautiful place, and we're here. You can see off screen right now, but we're gonna introduce. We've got a third member of our reading today, which is Jiva. Yay, Jiva! Haribol! So this is little Jiva. This is Dial's little pup, and he's very lovely. He is the most calm, cool. If I had a dog, I'm sure he'd be like in the water, because there's water right here. He'd be running around. He's just been so patient. We're just here. So we're going to read Bhagavatam, and we're going to continue where we left off. We're in the 4th canto, chapter 19. And we're reading text 23, and as you know, this is the exciting section where Lord Indra is perpetually stealing the horse from Prithu Maharaj, who's just desperately trying to do a 100-horse sacrifice for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. So we're going to start with the invocation so we can say it together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, would you like to read, Prabhu?
Sure. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 19, verse 23. You read the Sanskrit?
Nope, just the English.
Whatever different forms Indra assumed as a mendicant because of his desire to seize the horse were symbols of atheistic philosophy. Purport. According to Vedic civilization, sannyas is one of the essential items in the program of a varnashram institution. One should accept sannyas according to the parampara system of the acharyas. At the present moment, however, many so-called sannyasis or mendicants have no understanding of God consciousness. Such sannyas was introduced by Indra because of his jealousy of Maharaj Prithu, and what he introduced is again appearing in the age of Kali. Practically none of the sannyasis in this age are bona fide. No one can introduce any new system into the Vedic way of life. If one does so out of malice, he is to be known as a pashandi, or atheist. In the Vaishnava Tantra it is said, Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Dhaivatai Samatvainaiva Viksheta Sa Pashandi Bhavad Dhruvam. Although it is forbidden, there are many pashandis who coin terms like Dirija Narayan and Swami Narayan, although not even such demigods as Brahma and Shiva can be equal to Narayan. Jai. Want me to say something on that? Or
yeah, please. Any thoughts? Yeah.
There's a lot there. It's always interesting to think about where Prabhupada takes a particular verse, because there's so many places he can go with things, and there's so many things unsaid. I remember hearing, I have to reach back out to the devotee who told me this, a very reputable source that I appreciate and respect, but I'd like to go back and understand where he got it from. But he said at one point, Prabhupada, they were looking at what book he wanted to translate next, and he said Bhagavad Gita. And they said, you heard that? Yeah, he said, we've already had Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada said, there's so many ways you can translate and comment on Bhagavad Gita. We can do another one. And so, sometimes Prabhupada will say something, and there's so much that he said that we can comment on, and so many other aspects of the verse that you can connect with Prabhupada's philosophy in other ways. And the first thing that just came to my mind was, before we even got to the purport, was just saying the symbols of atheistic philosophy, where he was assuming the form of a mendicant, not out of service or genuine renunciation, but out of fear and insecurity and trying to get something for himself. Right. And I think, how is that atheistic? And I was just thinking, wow, it's because there's two things. One is you're trying to take there's some philosophical fallacy in your understanding of Krishna's position and your position, right? Krishna says at the end of the Gita, or end of the 5th chapter in the Gita, Bhoktaram Yagatabasam Sarvalokam Maheshwaram Suhradam Sarvadehinam Yatvamam Shantim Richati, that I'm the the beneficiary of all sacrifices, Lord of the universe, and your ever-wishing well friend. And so if you just think that Krishna is the Lord of everything and the benefactor of all sacrifices, but you don't believe he's your best friend, that's a sucky deal. You know, that's just like, that can lead to, that's all the envy, that's all of the insecurity, that's all the fear, that's all the dogmatism, the tyranny, the God has a God complex, you know? And so, but if you recognize that everything belongs to Krishna and that's the most beautiful thing, I don't have to, like, there's this beautiful sermon that I reference often by a pastor. He lives in New York. His name's Tim Keller. I've never seen him in person. I don't know if he's still here. He's a great author and speaker. And he gave this whole class on the Sabbath, which is one of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt honor the Sabbath. And we just think that's a day of rest. But he talks about it as an act of great faith. That the idea that I can put everything down for a day and the world will still spin.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and when you really think about it in the
amazing.
context of when the 10 Commandments were composed, where it's not like, oh, you take a day off and, okay, I can just still, you know, I just buy food from the store and I can cook at home. It's like, if you didn't tend to your fields, you died. You know, your crops would go bad and your livelihood would be gone. Or if you didn't tend to your business, things fell apart. It wasn't that you just, you know, turned your no notification on for a day and got back to it, your messages the next day. It was a tremendous act of faith, and it was a way of really taking us out of the center and Krishna in the center, of recognizing, God, I trust that if I put everything down for a day, I'm going to force myself into active trust and surrender by not working for a day. And, you know, because we're in the workaholic mode, everything revolves around us, it's all dependent on me, etc. And so, you know, that I'm seeing here in Indra, that this idea of false renunciation, because he's not really renounced, and also he's trying to get something which really belongs to Krishna anyways, and so he doesn't understand Krishna's position, his position, and creates a lot of problems for me and for everyone around me. And so that's when I was probably mentioned atheistic, you know, to really understand who Krishna is and what it means to really know and trust and serve him.
That is amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that insight. And
thank you, Indra.
Thank you. Yeah, I just think Indra had to take this this position to teach us.
Yeah.
He had to actually. He's got what he's got. This false pride, this false, you know, understanding of his own personal identity. But by him acting in this way with Prithu Maharaj, he's also teaching us. So it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
I really love this Sabbath thing, and I was speaking with some devotees the other day who are also from Jewish background, and they were explaining this, that on the Sabbath, like, Jewish people are really quite strict about the fact that they're not actually meant to even cook, I think, and
they keep it real simple. Like, they don't use like electricity or something like that. Yeah. So they don't use their stoves.
Yeah, this is amazing. I love this. And I guess it's also not that we would just be frivolous, like, oh yeah, anyway, today I'm not doing anything. But you must be intelligently working in such a way that the seventh day is actually a day.
Yeah.
And it's probably not that it's just rest like you sleep all day, but actually it's meant to be a day that you offer to the Lord.
Yeah.
You give your time instead of working hard just to maintain the body, to maintain ourselves.
Yeah.
But actually I go to church, I spend time with the family.
Exactly.
I spend quality time in a space that's it's dedicated to God.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that, and I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, just a quick thing. I remember Yogi Purushpa, who was leading the ashram here in New York when I first moved here. He would always say every day when we make announcements in the morning program, when it was a Kadashi, it was Kadashi, fasting from grains and beans. Then he would always add, and increased hearing and chanting. Yeah. Like that's the point. We always think, oh, it's a fasting day, but like, and increased hearing and chanting. I don't do that. I'm not an example of that. But that's the principle, is what you were saying. You know, increasing our devotional activities.
What is that point of fasting? Is that you don't have to spend time cooking. You don't have to spend time cleaning up after. You don't have to spend time eating. You don't have to spend time probably going to the toilet or doing whatever else you need to do when you eat. So it just gives you more time for hearing and chanting. But a lot of people just spend time like, oh, bummed out because I can't
making elaborate potato dishes. Boiling curd.
That point you mentioned at the beginning about Prabhupada wanting to translate the Gita, I've also heard that before. And I heard that Prabhupada, what I heard was Prabhupada said, there could be so many versions of the Gita.
Yeah.
And then he said there are so many commentaries from the Madhvas, from the Srivais, from Ramanuja, from this one, from that one. He said there could be many versions of the Gita. And the way that one devotee was explaining it was how that blew the minds of the devotees who were in this space of Bhagavad Gita as it is.
Yeah.
And that meant that that Bhagavad Gita was born as it is, and that is it.
Yeah.
And then Prabhupada said, no, there could be many versions.
Yeah.
And they would all be as it is. Because as it is doesn't mean it's just this one thing. It means that it's as it is coming in disciplic succession, in line of disciplic succession from Krishna. So that also is a little bit of a mind bender.
Yeah.
Because we can really fall into this space of thinking it's so black and white, just even the whole thing about, anyway, I don't want to open up the whole editing thing, but it's like, but we see, when I was first studying the Bhagavatam and reading through it, I remember I would find where Prabhupada, like here, he quotes this verse from the Vaishnava Tantra, and this is the translation he gives. And he gives in the Bhagavatam, he'll repeat Bhagavad Gita verses, and he translates them differently.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was going to say the same exact thing.
I'm like, wait a minute. What does that mean? Is that the right one? What's the right one? No, they're all right because it can be understood in certain contexts in certain ways, but it always has to be understood in the context with an understanding of Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead and giving this, and not through some other speculative means. Anyway, it's really, really powerful.
Love that.
Where are we at with time? We got time to do one more, you think?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. What do you think, Jiva? You're good?
He's a good boy.
Jiva's happy.
Okay.
Okay, so next one, this is verse 24 and 25. In this way, King Indra, in order to steal the horse from King Prithu's sacrifice, adopted several orders of sannyas. Some sannyasis go naked. Sometimes they wear red garments and pass under the name of Kapilika. These are simply symbolic representations of their sinful activities. These so-called sannyasis are very much appreciated by sinful men because they are all godless atheists and very expert in putting forward arguments and reasons to support their case. We must know, however, that they are only passing as adherents of religion and are not so in fact. Unfortunately, bewildered persons accept them as religious, and being attracted by them, they spoil their life. That just goes to show how people take up something, they make up so many different ideas of what it should be, what it could be. What's going on here? I just deleted all my entry. So, okay. So, that's it. So, short purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, men in this age of Kali are short-lived, devoid of spiritual knowledge, and susceptible to accept false religious systems due to their unfortunate condition. Thus, they always remain mentally disturbed. The Vedic Shastras practically prohibit the adoption of sannyas in the age of Kali because less intelligent men accept the sannyas order for cheating purposes. Actually, the only religion is the religion of surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We must serve the Lord in Krishna consciousness. All other systems of sannyas and religion are actually not bona fide. In this age, they are simply passing for religious systems. This is most regrettable. Anyway, I love it. Prabhupada's purports and Bhagavatam, there's so many, like you said, so many different directions we could go. The first thing is that kind of came to my mind is how Indra is creating all of this. How Indra is creating all of this by his, due to his false pride, his desire for honor and prestige, and he's creating all of these false religions and misleading so many people, creating systems that will mislead people, but yet still later Vishnu kind of protects him. and even tells Prithu that please forgive him. I consider him a dearmost servant of mine. He is doing so much, even though he transgressed in some ways, but still, I want you to accept and forgive him because I love him, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, exactly, oh my God, Krishna, you are so loving, caring, understanding, tolerant. You just accept people and know that they're, okay, he's making a mistake now, but he can, like we were just discussing earlier, having faith that people can change.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Or not even change, but can restore to their original position.
Yeah. Nice.
I was thinking of yesterday, Rana Swami was speaking at the Radha Muralidhar Festival at the Bhakti Center, and he said something that stuck in my mind, that Radha Muralidhar, he said, love everybody inconceivably more than we can understand. And in my mind I was thinking, I was like, even that person? Or this person? Or, we're thinking all these things and just realizing that, wow, they inconceivably love everybody so much more than we can understand. And just thinking like, wow, if I'm having a grudge with somebody, that's a me problem.
Yeah.
That's a me problem. I got to figure out, because I can't control this, that, or the other, but I got to figure out a way to love them. Like if I want to get closer to Krishna.
Yeah.
If I want to get closer to Krishna, if I want to understand the way that Krishna loves, and love the way Krishna loves, and feel Krishna's love more deeply, I got to figure out how to love the people that he loves,
Krishna's
which is everybody.
Parcels, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually we're reading Teachings of Lord Kapila Dev at the moment, and Prabhupada is repeatedly, it's lectures on these verses, and Prabhupada is perpetually talking about the nature of a sadhu, because Kapila Dev instructs Devahuti we have to take shelter of sadhus, we have to have sadhu sangha. And he's perpetually saying that a sadhu loves everyone, and that doesn't just mean other sadhus, and it doesn't just mean humans. He says even cats and dogs.
Little sweet jeepers, Krishna love you, sadhus love you.
So we have to be willing to take care of all these living entities.
This is probably the first dog on Bhagavatam Bites.
It is. Is it? Yes, I think it is our first dog on Bhagavatam Bites. Jiva's premiere. Anyway, so much wonderful nectar. I think we're gonna finish here. And Prabhu, thank you so much for being my friend, and
thank you for being my friend,
and taking me out to Prospect Park. And Jiva, thank you for being so patient. You're just so beautiful on camera. It's like he's on camera and he knows I'm on camera now. Don't embarrass me. Don't. Thank you for your beautiful insights and reflections on the Bhagavatam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Haribol.
Haribol.